Thanks for tuning in. This is called This Is Now Bridge to a Better World. I'm Teresa Mitchell, and that's Ani Haynes. William Morris writes in Des Moines Register. Is that how you say Des Moines? I always wondered if you say
Des Moines.
Is it? Okay. Well, that place anyway.
We're not from
Federal prosecutors say a Woodbury County woman committed widespread voter fraud to support her Republican husband in two 2020 electoral races. The U.S. Department of Justice announced charges Thursday against Kim Fong Taylor of Sioux City. Why didn't they just say Sioux City? I could have dodged all that. Anyway, according to a DOJ press release, Fong Taylor faces more than 50 felony charges, including 26 counts of providing false information and registering and voting, 3 counts of fraudulent registration, and 23 counts of fraudulent voting. Court filings against Fong Taylor were not available online as of Thursday. Fong Taylor is married to Jeremy Taylor, a former Republican Iowa House member and current Woodbury County supervisor. Taylor, who is not identified by name or accused of wrongdoing in the press release, ran unsuccessfully for the Republican nomination to replace Representative Steve King in Iowa's 4th Congressional District. And of course, in case you didn't catch my heavy emphasis, I'm reading that vote fraud story because it's the only more than accidental vote fraud story that I can possibly find. And it's, let's see, what is it? 50 charges having to do with a Republican trying to steal the election. Video images have been released showing the sadistic electrocution execution of Keenan Anderson, a cousin of the founder of Black Lives Matter. LAPD cops are shown using a portable electrocution device and deliberate suffocation techniques to snuff out the life of the school teacher who had made the criminal error of calling police for help. Notice I didn't use the word taser here, since that is a trademarked name that has been used to brainwash you into believing that portable electrocution devices are somehow humane. Meanwhile, the wages of ordinary working Americans reflect the terror that BIPOC feel as they are forced into a lower wage economy, skewing overall wages down and thereby producing reliable profits for U.S. corporations. More on that in a minute. 17,000 are without power in Alabama this morning after a tornado swarm passed through last night. Several people are dead. Houses are smashed with debris blocking roads. In other global warming news, California is still facing titanic amounts of rain, ending a years-long drought and cramming reservoirs. People have been forced to flee the towns. Oh, and by the way, the reservoirs still have plenty of room. It's been that bad of a drought. People have been forced to flee the towns of Planeta and Merced, and Highway 395 is blocked with snow and landslides, and the rain continues into this week at least. And the Doomsday Thwaites Glacier moved towards a breakout, according to New Scientist. Quote, a massive iceberg that got stuck and was helping to slow the loss of floating ice from the Thwaites Glacier in West Antarctica has come free. The iceberg, which started out roughly 85 kilometers long and 64 wide, originally broke away from the floating ice shelf formed by the glacier in March 2002, but got caught in a shallow part of the Amundsen Sea around 100 kilometers away. Washington Post, Dateline Brasilia. Authorities in Brazil asked a federal court on Thursday to block $1.3 million in assets belonging to 52 people and 7 companies alleged to have helped fund the buses that carried supporters of defeated former President Jair Bolsonaro to the riot in the capital on Sunday. The companies listed by Brazil's Solicitor General are mostly transportation firms and small businesses based on the southern and southeastern regions of the country where support for the far-right former president is strong. The list includes a small agribusiness union and a small timber company also from the south. The blocked assets would be used to compensate the government for the massive damage caused by rioters who stormed, occupied, and vandalized Brazil's Congress, the presidential palace, and the Supreme Court, according to the Solicitor General's office. That's the headlines. Pardon me. And I want to comment that the surprising thing about the news on Exxon's generations-old climate disaster predictions is not that they existed, since we've known that for a while, but how scientifically accurate they were. A major multi-million-dollar corporation knew beyond a doubt, and with great accuracy, that they were in the process of destroying life on Earth within their lifetimes, and decided to cover it up. So that's in the news today, and it says something about corporate capitalism and about just how its reign of terror has degraded our souls. Because Exxon is just one emanation of this malaise. We white folk have known for generations that we are genociding African-descended people within our own shores, yet we steadfastly refuse to end it with taxpayer-funded reparations. And we won't even talk about it. The closest we've gotten to talking about it is after 40 years, the last Congress, not this Congress, decided to put it in a committee and talk it over. It didn't result in any bills. Reparations are off the table.
As is land back. I mean, the idea that we have, that this country has been built on the genocide of African Americans and Native Americans, First Nations people. It's just going to say, and our, when I say our, I mean the country's refusal to really make any kind of peace or any kind of accountability with either of those legacies. In fact, they're extreme denial, as you were saying.
Yes, and the only legitimate legacy of that would be grief and reparations. Whether they take the form of land back or just cash, I think needs to be paid to BIPOC, because that's the legacy that has been put in place, that has been perverted, and is fueled by these great and unaddressed crimes, is the continued oppression of the entire working class. These things are inextricably connected. The despairing cries of Keenan Anderson are added to the Hell concert today to no effect. There's no immediate profit in changing either aspect of our negligence, and our bosses demand that we continually turn from our collective responsibility. As a matter of fact, they encourage us to take the view that negligence is opposite. Negligence is responsibility. As we turn our noses from the rot, the better to undistractedly serve our masters. Don't be a bleeding heart or a hippie, they say. Get into this office cubicle or behind this cash register and obey, and do so for less and less as we charge more and more for all necessities. The chair of the arrogant Federal Reserve is seen basking in the sea breeze on a tropical island as he delivers the doom of our school children painted as good medicine. He and his class of parasites are not the problem, he assures us, but rather our impudence in taking offered jobs and desiring that they pay sufficient for our expenses is the problem. How dare mere workers demand a living? Let them eat evictions. This is the year the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans will take bloody revenge for their poisonings at our hands. It's cooked in and cannot be reversed, no matter how many times you reuse that coffee cup. I mean, please reuse it, for the good of defiance against evil, for the good of a good example. But we must organize an unstoppable mass of defiance and demand our governments either reverse the death machine or get out of our way. And those are pretty brief comments, but that's what I have today.
And we have a very old dog who has decided to come between us. And there we go. Here's our very old dog.
Yeah.
He's delightful.
He's delightful. He's a good doggy. He's the best good doggy.
Yes, he is the best good doggy. He is almost 13 and he is mostly Dane. That's right. It's kind of a miracle.
He's a great door.
He's a great door.
Labor Dane.
Thanks for joining us. Well, what an incredibly tumultuous start to our podcast, our stream, our thing. As for whatever reason, YouTube kept shutting down the stream as it was starting. But finally, we have in fact persevered, and here we are. So this is Neo the Adorable. Hi. This is the tarot reading section of the show.
He read it doggedly, wants attention this morning.
He really does. And he deserves it. He is the bestest boy.
Yay.
That said, here's what we got for tarot. It is Strength, Justice inversed, and the Five of Swords inversed. And what it all means to me, and for our community. Know that initially, just know that you are in fact totally competent, totally capable of doing hard stuff that needs to be done. Strength, you have it. You can ground in that knowledge. You can know that you have what you need. You can be comfortable with being strong. And in fact, please do become comfortable with being strong. The world needs your strength. You have strength, and it really is based in comfort in your own body, in comfort with knowing who you are, and in coming to peace with yourself. And that is super important because what we're being called to do this week is to really resolve conflict, to check out things that are pokey, things that are left unsaid, or maybe things that have been said too much. And it's time to take accountability. It's time to do what we need to do to restore peace in our circle of friends, in our families, in our relationships, in our communities. How can we be agents of peace? And peace, again, doesn't mean that there is no conflict. It means that conflict is dealt with in a forthright fashion with an eye towards justice. And to remember that justice is a thing that demands accountability from ourselves, as well as accountability from others and from the outside world in general. So justice is a strong message around making sure that things are in balance, that you are not sort of quietly acquiescing to circumstances or taking advantage of circumstances. Either way, you want to make sure you are putting yourself out there to both take what you are owed, to receive your due, as well as to take accountability for actions that may have been not living up to your highest and best self. So it's one of those swords that cuts both ways, as all the swords do in tarot. It's a time of accounting in our personal actions. And so we can do that because we're strong, right? You can, and it's an important time to speak your truth. And speaking your truth in a way that takes accountability for actions that you have perhaps not been so proud of, and to move on as we look at the first, as we're in the declination of the moon, this cycle, as we are heading in towards the end of Mercury retrograde, as we are heading in towards the new moon, which is next week. This is the last cycle of the moon is coming right up. Last cycle. What do I mean by that? The last quarter. And so it's a good time to sort of wrap things up and to have an eye towards finishing, to tying up loose ends, and again, making sure that you're doing your part to take accountability and to make peace within your family, within your community. That's what I got.
Well, thank you for that.
And so with that, please do like this video. Please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit the little button for notifications so you can know when we do go on. And hopefully we'll be able to get on without so much frou-frou.
I like the comment from John here, mostly harmless, which I take to be a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide from the Galaxy.
Of course it is.
What else would it be? Well, yes, thanks for tuning in. We've quite enjoyed doing this, and we'll be here next week. We'll be here next week. We'll work to be here next week.
We'll do this again sometime very soon.
Yeah. Oh.
And thanks so very much. If any of you would like personalized tarot readings, do leave a comment. I will once again post my website in the description box. And you can get a hold of me through my website if you are interested in one-on-one tarot reading or in any kind of witchly, consultation, instruction, stuffs like that. And thank you so very much for joining us. It's lovely to, it's nice to see your comments this morning. Thanks for being part of our community, and thanks for having us in your lives.
And Neil loves you. And our love goes out to you and to all the ships at sea. Bye.
Just like that.
Yep.